Hey there guys, gals, and non-binary pals, GM Potter here. Welcome to my channel where I talk about books and bookish things. I upload on Tuesdays and Thursdays, with some extra ones thrown in here and there at noon Central Time. And today is Indie Author Day, so I thought I would tell you about my book babies. Let's get into it. Okay, so for you, as you may or may not know, I myself am an indie author, an independent author. I self-publish, and since today is Indie Author Day, I thought I would tell you about my book babies. I started writing came up with my first story when I was 4 years old. My mom was gracious enough to write it down for me in a little book, which I still have. And I remember just holding it in my hands like it was this little piece of magic, and knowing that that's all I ever wanted to do. And I self-published my first book in 2019 after writing to every publisher and agent and everybody that I could find an address or an email address for. I sent queries to absolutely everybody, got told no or just ghosted by absolutely everybody, and so I decided to self-publish my first book myself, and that was 8, and this one was my first baby. When I wrote it, I was in kind of a dark place, so it's loosely based on things that actually happened to me in my youth. The story follows Kat Logan as she is trying to put her pieces back together after a psychotic break and a self-unalivement attack. She's got to go back and confront her past traumas so that she can move forward. So the odd chapters are present day, forward through time, and then the even chapters go back further and further and further as we examine past trauma. There is a romantic element to it, and it does have a happy ending, because I was trying to write my way out of a dark place. So it's a little bit of writing my own story and writing my own future, because I'm alive and thriving now, and that's how it ends with Kat Logan in this book. Next, I have my first collection of short stories and flash fiction called In a Flash. My wonderful partner actually made the cover for this book. I think he did a phenomenal job, and this one features dark gods and vampires and wizards and a little bit of sci-fi for a couple of the stories thrown in there. It's a little bit all over the place, but that's where I am with my short story writing, that I'm definitely a mood writer when it comes to my short stories and flash fiction. I write what I'm in the mood to read, and I tend to follow Stephen King's theory that a novel is a relationship, whereas a short story is a kiss in the dark with a stranger. So happily endings are not guaranteed for my short stories. Then I published my second novel, which was Harmony Coxcomb, Witch for Hire. A friend of mine, Rose Fry, did the cover illustration for me, and again, she did an absolutely phenomenal job. I asked her this year to go back and make me some artwork and art prints so I could put them on bookmarks and things, and she absolutely knocked it out of the park. This one was probably the most fun I've had writing, and it started with the letter on the back. To whom it may concern or interest, my name is Harmony Coxcomb, and I would like to offer my services to your IT department as a witch for hire. I am very adept at conjuring, spells, hexes, divination, projection, glamours, binding, typing, and Microsoft Office. I am a self-starter and very driven. I take direction and criticism with ease, and am always looking to improve. I have led full covens of up to 13 witches and was elected regional head witch over 6 local covens for the fall 2021 season. Under my leadership, malicious hexes were down and membership climbed 12%. I also have 8 years of experience as a teacher of neophytes and novices. Two of my charges went on to lead covens of their own. I believe I'd be a perfect fit for your company, and I look forward to hearing from you. Best regards, Harmony Coxcomb. Now, in the story, she does hide that she is a witch from the mortal realm that she comes to, but that was kind of a first draft of what she was writing as her cover letter, because it's about a witch who comes to the mortal realm, specifically Dallas, as you can see from the skyline here, and she's trying to live the full mortal experience. Well, in order to do that, you need a job, right? Well, the closest mortals have to magic is IT, is computers. So she gets a job running an IT department for a company. She falls in love. She discovers corporate embezzlement. And she's got to choose whether she wants to stay or go at the end of the season, because that's all the longer she can stay. I absolutely love this one. The next book I wrote was a departure from the previous books I wrote that were more... even though 8 got dark in places, it still had an overall hopeful feeling. And this one I actually wrote with my partner in mind, because he really likes novels that focus on superheroes. So that book was Super. Ignore the residue. This is my working copy. I pin little... I call them book talkers. They sit on the front cover and they kind of give... a little 5-word blurb about what the book is about. But this one is about people with superpowers, not superheroes, but superpowers, just trying to live their life and not be abducted by the government. And then a new super comes into her powers and starts listening to a deep-seated misanthropic voice that everyone can hear, but most people choose to ignore, and goes on a bit of a rampage at 13 years old. And it's up to Cassie Davidson and to bring her and her band of misfits to bring her in before she gets them all in trouble. This one is very dark, it's very gritty, and it is fairly spicy. It is the spiciest book I have published to date. It is full open door, full spice. Cassie Davidson and Jake Rising are in a relationship, and it explores their relationship and all of that. So this one is probably my favorite to read back of the books I've written. This one was actually picked as a book club pick this year by the Palestine, Texas Public Library Book Club, which I am so proud of, that my book was picked for that. And yeah, I'm absolutely in love with it. Super I published last year, 2024, along with another short story collection. This one is Letters I'll Never Send. This one is a letters, short fiction, and prose collection. And the cover is actually some of the scribblings of rough drafts I did for In a Flash. So a little bit of an Easter egg there, that it's journal entries and what would become the short stories that are in the other collection. And this one is, I wrote it, most of the stories I wrote as I was coming to grips with losing my grandmother, who I was fairly close with. And while the stories don't deal with grief, they do come from a kind of fractured mind. And I've got a letter to my grandmother, I've got a letter to myself, I've got a letter to a former lover, and then I've got microfiction, little onesie-twosie page stories in here, along with a little bit of prose. And then I have the book I published on October the 2nd, which is actually my older brother's birthday, of this year, 2025, and that is The Science of Limerence. This one is a historical romantasy. It's set in 1899 in London, and it's about class disparity between the Fae, the fairies who kind of rule London and England and at large, and the mortals, who are the lower classes but are in the advent of the Industrial Revolution, are coming up through the middle classes and starting to infiltrate the upper classes. And it's a story of love between Henry C., who is a mortal mathematician, and his boss slash partner, Lord Parsnip Peaseblossom of Blackthorn and Sundley. And Lord Parsnip is trying to synthesize the Philosopher's Stone to try and end the disparity of power between the mortals and the Fae. And he and Henry fall in love but they're each convinced that the other one couldn't possibly love him back. So limerence, of course, being the word for unrequited love. And this one has a happy ending. It is no spice. There is a single kiss in it, and it's good. I really like this one. The feedback I've gotten from it so far has been very positive, and this one was a joy to write. So those are my bookish babies. Don't tell the cats, but those are my real babies, the ones that I carried in my mind for months at a time and then pushed out onto the page. I'm really proud of them. If you're interested in reading any of them, they are available on Amazon, and a couple of them are available on barnesandnoble.com. I've got links to them in the description below. And happy Indie Author Day. Are any of you indie authors? Are any of you traditionally published authors? I'd love to hear about your books and potentially read them, so feel free to tell me in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!